Hello everyone, Manix here. This is a pretty random video and out of nowhere, and I just thought that I'd show it. So, for my birthday, I wanted to, because I watched Infinity War and I loved it, and my birthday was in May, and so it was like right after it came out, and I was obsessed with it. So for my birthday, I really wanted a fucking Infinity Gauntlet. So what else other than just building one for yourself? So here in this video, I'll show like the progress of me making it a 3D printed Infinity Gauntlet. So yeah, hope you enjoy this really random, out of nowhere video. Probably a one-off thing, but yeah, it was really fun to make. So yeah. Alright, so starting off, I'm gonna show and showcase every single like piece of the gauntlet itself. The fingers have 3 pieces each connecting them. In this, the pieces are actually a bit larger than my finger, so I can put a glove inside and then fit some foam so that it's perfectly, like, it fits perfectly. The only problem with this is that the fingers are a lot longer than my actual fingers, so like the first 2 segments will reach my fingers and the last piece, the tip, won't. But it's whatever, because Thanos has a really fucking awkward hand. He has big long fingers, but he has a small wrist. So if I made the ratio any smaller for the fingers, I would have to change it for the gauntlet itself, and it would look weird. And if I made the gauntlet any smaller, I couldn't fit my wrist through it. So yeah, right now I'm just showcasing all the pieces. My personal favorite part is like that palm gauntlet part. It's so fucking cool looking. And the last part, the giant wrist piece, was actually had to be done in 5 different pieces because my 3D printer wasn't big enough to print the entire thing in one go. So you'll be able to see it how we welded it, and I tried to sand it to the best of my abilities. But since there was like breaking and like tearing while it was 3D printing, it looks kind of iffy on those parts, but it's not that bad, so I don't mind it too much. So yeah, here are all the pieces. It took me 45 hours to print the entire thing. Well, roughly that amount of time. So yeah, a long ass print time. Alright, so the next working step to the gauntlet is spraying every single piece with black Plastidip, and basically what this is like a primer for the spray paint that's gonna come after, and it also seals like the thing so that the paint sticks on longer and it is harder to peel off, and it just keeps the gauntlet itself just stronger overall. So it's just a nice coat to put on before you put all the paint. It didn't take too long to dry, but I'm pretty sure I left this overnight. I only did 1 coat. I probably should have done 2, but I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm impatient. So yeah, after spraying the Plastidip, the obvious next step is to actually color it. So I use like this bronzish brass color for the gauntlet instead of gold, because I don't know why there are a bunch of different like pictures of the gauntlet. In the movies it looks sort of gold, but in like a bunch of different other stuff like toys and other models that I looked at, and even Fortnite, the Fortnite one was a bit more brass than gold, and I personally like the more brass color than I like the gold, because the gold is pretty generic. So I was like, you know what, let's go for a more orangey tone, and I personally still like this more than the gold, and I don't know how it probably would have turned out just as nice with the gold, but I preferred this one. And I also think I only did one, I can't remember because I'm recording this post commentary like weeks after I make this, but I think I only coated I spray painted like twice. I only had 2 coats on it, and I think it was enough. Yeah, I think it was, yeah, it's fine, lol. So after painting the gauntlet, the next thing we would have to paint is the Infinity Stones themselves. And originally, I did not plan to actually paint these. I actually planned to print them with colored plastic, so it would have like orange filaments for the Soul Stone, like orange plastic clear filament. But it was just too expensive to get every color. I only had like a few. I had like purple and green. But if I was going to do 2, I had to do all of them, so it was rather all or none, so I decided to go with none, and instead I painted them. It doesn't look as good as I wanted it to. It looks like candy, if you ask me. But It's what I had to do. I already spent like a lot on filament and all that other stuff, so I was gonna spend even more on just little pellets, just so I can get it colored properly. So I just decided to go for the color. I could have done mold with silicone, but that would have also costed a lot more. So I just went with the easiest and cheapest option, was to print them in white plastic filament and then just paint them on with acrylic paint. So yeah. It doesn't look as good as I wanted it to, but you know what? You gotta compromise. So all the pieces are finally painted, and I was looking at it with the stones on, not gluing them yet, and I didn't like how perfect the Infinity Gauntlet looked. Like, if you look in any of the stuff, it's not perfectly painted. Like, it's scratched, it's worn out, sort of like any metal. So I just decided to try to do the same effect by weathering it with black shoe polish, and the final product actually turned out a lot nicer than I thought, because this was the first time I ever actually tried weathering anything. And so yeah, I just looked up a few tutorials online. They didn't really help. I just eventually did my own thing, and it just turned out alright. So I was like, you know what, it's good enough, you know? Yeah, okay. So the final step of the gauntlet is, of course, to actually put all the Infinity Stones on the gauntlet. Spoiler alert, Thanos does it as well! Anyways, so a funny story about when I was putting the Infinity Stones on. The time stone, the green one that goes on the thumb, as soon as I was about to place it, it slipped out of my hand and it fell under my porch floorboards. So you can see it like in the video, it fell under those, and I tried with my friend Radu for an hour and a half to pull it out, like surgically, like Doctor Strange, no pun intended, because he has that Infinity Stone. But we like surgically tried to pull it out. Eventually we got it using a spoon, some chopsticks, and yeah, that was that. And then I had to clean it off and then repaint it and then spray paint it all over again. But yeah, that was fucking incredibly stupid. So yeah, that's the final working step to making the Infinity Gauntlet. So yeah, that's cool. So yeah, that was the Infinity Gauntlet process video. I know it's completely random and out of nowhere, but I just I thought I could share this with you guys. Like, again, I can move my fingers, but as you can see, I can't really move this part because of how big the Infinity Gauntlet is itself. I can snap, like like obviously you can't snap on the Infinity Gauntlet, but like an actual gauntlet, because it's fucking made out of metal and whatnot. But yeah, here's the Infinity Gauntlet. It took a heck of a lot of time. I know this is a completely random video, and I don't think I mentioned how I actually put it all together. Inside, it's just like a black costume glove and a bunch of foam. I don't know if you can see, like, there's the foam and other stuff. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this completely out of nowhere video, and yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye.